Hello racers, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is the 5th episode of Maritime Onroad Season 3. And in today's video we're going to test a few more products. I've been getting a lot of feedback on the channel around the videos and people are enjoying them. So I thought for this week's race I'd try a few performance enhancing parts. First up, let's put the car aside. I'm going to try a little different motor. This is a Surpass brushless motor, 4-pole. The one that's in it is a 2-pole. Pull the car over. The motor that I have in it now is a 2-pole 5200, which is quite mild. This one is a 4-pole 5800. So we should have more power. With 4 poles you get more torque than a 2-pole motor, and this motor is slightly bigger. Let's take a look inside, see what we get in the package. I ordered in a blue one, so very similar to the one that's in the car. This is 30 millimeters long, 24 millimeters thick, and it has that 2 millimeter shaft that the Mini B uses. So this is a little 4-pole 12 slot motor. So this should be quite a bit more powerful. Help me keep up with the... I'm still not ready to go full Furatech. So we're going to go with that little motor there. Here, let's put it aside. Next up, I was doing some reading around the dog bones that we have in the back of the car. We just have a little set of dog bones. And I was wondering if those, maybe I could improve upon that. I was looking online and I found 2 options that I'm going to try out over the next couple of videos. Option 1, I got some CVD for the Mini T, and I believe these will fit right on the car. So these are Mini T CVDs. These are not the CVDs that Lowe's sells for the Mini B that go inside the hub of the car. You can design a CVD that it actually goes inside the joint, goes inside the hub. This one here, the joint will be outside of the hub, just like a dog bone, only you'll have an improved CVD joint. This one's from RC 4-wheel drive, made for the Mini T, but the Mini T and Mini B are the same, basically, chassis. And these are about $15. They're not very expensive at all. And I got a little set of steel universal joints. Once again, these came, you're seeing exactly the way they came packaged. These were sold online, got them as an eBay find. Made again for the Mini T, but little steel universal joint. So I thought this would be an improvement. So I went back to my Invisible Speed book, and they actually do have a section in here around universals. Okay, so there's a whole little section about, you can see up here's the universal design, down here is the CVD design, and they explain how the changes will affect handling on road. So I wanted to test that. So what they said is little universals or CVDs will bind on an angle, and when they bind on an angle they'll want to straighten out on power. And the designs, the more bind they have, the more they'll want to straighten out on power. And when they straighten out on power, they will stiffen the rear suspension, because that could be compressed, and then as it wants to straighten out, it'll jam that tire down. So what they said, the design of a CVD where the joint is not inside the hub, so the joint is out like a dog bone, it's outside of the hub, this will have the most bind, and therefore it'll be pushing the tire down. It'll try to straighten on power, and when it straightens out on power, it pushes that tire down into the carpet, and it'll give you more on power grip. Okay, so this would offer probably the most on power grip. Next, he said that if you wanted to free up the car, a universal, the joint itself doesn't offer much in the way of straightening out on power, and it is very smooth in corners. So if you need more corner speed and a little less of the on power traction, go with the universal. It'll actually free the car up a bit. And if you need bump handling, you go with those CVDs that actually Lowe's makes for the Mini B, that put the joint in the hub of the car. That will offer the least amount of dog bone bind, and it'll offer better bump handling. Having the joint out from the tire affects bump handling. So the further that joint is from the pivot point inside the hub, the more it'll affect bump handling. I race on carpet, it'll be fine. So what I was thinking is I would first test the CVD. In this video I'll test the CVD version. We'll try that out and see how that works. We'll do a video on that, and then I won't make any other changes, and we'll test the universals with the same tires and same everything. So I'm gonna have to do it over 2 weeks. It's gonna kind of slow my progress. Here's the actual universal. This is the CVD. You can see that the little joint is a little different than the universal joint. It's all kind of in one unit in there. Same principle though. Okay, so let me install these parts. Should be a very simple fix. I should just be able to unbolt the tire, put in the new axle, and then bolt the tire back on, and then for the motor just undo some screws and put it in. I'm going to leave the gearing the same, but I might have to tune it on track. So with that said, let me put the parts together and see how all this puts in. I see there's some spare parts for the universal, for the CVD joint, kind of some aluminum hexes, some pins, some grub screws. They came assembled. That's just spare parts. So let me put it together and see how it works on the track. See you there. So here we are, A-Main Mini B. You can see my car, yellow, qualified third this race. And this race, the qualification went pretty good. In Q1 I used the Hacker Fab medium fronts with the super soft rears for both Q1 and Q2. But by Q3, those super soft rears were getting really soft. So I had to switch to the stock barcodes. And here we go. So starting third, here we go, around the bottom right, top right onto the straight. You can see that the new motor there has given me the power to keep up with that lead pack easy enough. So my thought in third place is just to keep up with the leaders. Here we go through the infield. Oh, tag, the pipe was marshaled. So I went from third to fourth, and that white car ahead of me is in third place. So let's see if we can chase him down. Early bobble. Well, another bobble there. So the third place car is getting away a little bit. Let's see how the car is performing though. So this is with the fixed diff in the rear and the CVDs. Well, what I noticed is that, let's follow the car around under the bridge through the infield. You can see that when it went through that infield there, it seemed to have a lot of front bite. What's going on is as soon as the rear tire gets lifted, it gets a lot of steering. So I find that I have a lot of steering coming onto the straight and through that mid infield. And the car is wandering a little. Here we are down into the infield, bottom right, through the chicane onto the straight. Now, behind me is the first place car about to put me a lap down. You can see on the straight the speeds are comparable, but the infield certainly has a bit more in the way of handling. So try not to battle too much with them, let them go by. It's better just to kind of latch onto the rear of the faster car, let him set the pace. Oh, you can see in the infield again, a little bobble there. Second place has gone by, and third place is the white car right behind me, so almost a lap down to third. Now at this stage of the race, I notice the car is handling a little bit funny. It seemed to kind of fade in the middle of the race. Fade in the way handling, it's kind of like wandery. I don't know if it's a car or me, but I did notice that in the race. A little bit wandering. Trying to get away from third place behind me, not to go a lap down. Little bobble going on to the straight. You can see he is closing in. But I'm going to keep fighting. See if I can keep on that lead lap. He had a little bobble going on to the straight, so I did manage to get a little bit of a spread under the bridge through the infield. This lap here looks like it's going to be a good one. Yep, looked like a good handling lap there. Under the bridge through the infield, bottom right. But he's still gaining, but he did bobble there. Oh, and a bobble on the straightaway there. Now third place is right behind me. Little tangle. Long Marshall. Well, going through the infield, bottom right, through the chicane and onto the straight. See that now it's about a half a lap between myself, who's onto the straight coming under the bridge, and the white car in third that's on the straight coming under the bridge. Let's see if we can make a last minute gain there. See, there was a couple times the car has gone quite wide now, and what I think happens is as soon as the car leaves the line, that gray line that you can see in the track, it gets a push because of the spool in the rear. So the jury's still out on the spool in the rear. It has made the handling a little bit inconsistent, and with the inconsistency comes those little bobbles here and there, and I think that's what's holding me back. Okay, coming onto the straight. On the straight, around under the bridge. This lap looks like it's shaping up. A little bit wide in the bottom right there, but onto the straight. Good through the infield. And that was a good lap. Onto the straight we go. Down the straight around. So now we're into the waning minutes of this race. And progress is slow, trying to gain onto the... My best is I'm trying to catch that third place car behind me. Trying to get a little bit of a gap. Oh, little tag the corner there. Losing those precious seconds, those precious tenths with little bit tags here and there. Under the bridge, but third place is also under the bridge. Chasing me down. Trying to put me the lap down. What I'm trying to do is get some distance. We are in the last throes of the race. Still managing to keep ahead of third. Third had a bobble. Here we go down the... Well, on the straightaway, the white car, the third place car, has bobbled. It's coming down to here, but he's under the bridge. And I think that is either the last lap or... Yep, that is the last lap. So, started third, early bobble, went to fourth, could not gain this position back. So I'm going to hit the books, see if I can come up with a better approach. We'll see you in the next video.